Good morning. This is Craig from Craig Hart Accountancy Services. This is a video to show you the basics of how to get started with Freeagent. Now, Freeagent is basically bookkeeping software that will help you to run your business. So this particular meeting is going to be aimed at contractors, people who are one-man band companies, and really small businesses. The reason that apologies, I had to stop there because my little dog was barking at the postman. So Metal is a free bank account. You pay generally, my bank would charge me £20 a month for the transactions that go through my account. So having a bank account that's free and you get a free Freeagent license, which is 26 quid a month, probably saves a normal business about £46 a month, which is, you're looking at close to £600 a year. So definitely worthwhile. It takes 2 minutes to open up the bank account with Metal. You don't have to use it for your day-to-day transactions. You can have it as a second account. You could have it as a savings account for your tax. You can have it, just as a secondary account to sit there, or you can move your business to it if you're currently getting charged monthly for your bank transactions. You might as well have a look at Metal. There will be some restrictions. You might not be able to pay checks in and stuff like that, so you need to see if it's suitable for your business. But definitely worthwhile looking at, I think. Now, I want to cover a number of things today, so I'm going to get cracking. Freeagent, what will happen is you can just go to the normal Freeagent website and you click login and it takes you to this screen. So once you put your username and password in, that's incorrect. Once you put your username and password in, it takes you to your overview dashboard, which is a brilliant snapshot of your business and where it is and what's happening with it. The key things here are, obviously you want your income higher than your outgoing, of course. Now, your outgoing also includes money that you transfer to yourself as well. So this is basically a cash flow and not necessarily an income and expenditure. And that means that, it monitors your bank account and the ups and downs and the fluctuations. Again, you want that to be growing ideally month on month. Obviously, that's not always going to be the case. If you've got tax payments, they're often done once a year. So that's your cash flow dashboard there. You can change that to last 3 months, last 6 months, and just see how that goes. Down here, you've got an invoicing timeline. So this shows how much invoices are outstanding, how much you've invoiced. So last month, say 30k. This is, by the way, test data. This is not the data for my business. So just to let you know. So you can see here that the red bars are overdue invoices, and you can click from here to view all invoices, or you can click new invoices as well. So if you click view all invoices, it takes you to this page. Now, this is where you would really start out. So you basically go, right, I want to raise a new invoice. So if you've got, this is just the first day on Freeagent. If you use another invoicing system, I would recommend that you move across to Freeagent. So you would need to make sure that you follow the same invoicing number sequence. So if your other system is, say, invoice 155, you would need to start Freeagent with invoice 156, because legally your business has to do sequential invoicing. So on that screen, I've just clicked new invoice, which is over the right hand side, and you can either select an existing contact. So all of your customers and your suppliers will be listed here. So you can invoice to both customers and suppliers. You'd have an individual contact. If you wanted to create a new one, you just literally click create new contact. You go contact first name, put your last name in, put your the company name of the person your invoice is in there. Again, your invoice reference, you can manually amend that for the first one, then that'll just automatically update sequentially. Your invoice date would go in there, and then your payment terms. So some contractors get paid 7 days, 30 days, 14 days. So you just need to put that in, whatever your payment terms are. And that's actually really a good feature to use, because you can send automatic invoice reminders when things haven't been paid. Obviously, you can bill in different currencies, so euros, US dollar, whatever you need to. You can then also select, if you are a CIS contractor, there's a box here for CIS category. So some people, very small minority, are registered for gross, so they would get paid the whole invoice. Some people, if you work in the construction industry scheme, get tax deducted at 20% at source. And generally, that's the case. Once you get registered, it's always going to be 20%. 30% is just if you're unregistered. So that might be like one invoice at the start before you get registered. So you would click, if you were going to get CIS tax deducted from the invoice, you click on that, CIS income. Then you would have invoice emails. You can tick that button, and at the end of this, you would then send the invoice out automatically, and you can edit your default template to say whatever you want in there. So that's fine. And then I would personally always take email payment reminders if this invoice goes unpaid, and then you can edit the reminder rules, and it takes you to this page, and it will basically send an invoice reminder the day before the invoice is due, and then it would send another reminder 4 days after the invoice date, and then 2 days after that. Now, the important thing here is that you need to make sure that you keep your bank up to date, because Freeagent links automatically to your bank account. It downloads your transactions, but it doesn't recognize them until the day after they've occurred. So really, kind of every morning or whenever you can, you would match up, make sure that you're matching up your sales and your income coming in, because you could be sending reminders out for an invoice that hasn't yet been paid. But nevertheless, this system is always going to improve your debt collection. So I think it's a great system. You can also invoice to say a thank you once the invoice has been paid. Nice little touch if you want to do that. Invoice discount. I haven't got any clients that use invoice discounting, so we'll completely ignore that. You can put a PO reference in there if you need one. You can also select different bank accounts to be paid into. Obviously, you would just generally have the standard one, and you're using letterhead paper, display the IBAN and BIC, which is if it's international payments. And then you've got a couple of VAT options here. One is normal UK VAT rates, and the other is reverse charge, which means that if you fall under the CIS, Construction Industry Scheme, you would also generally fall under VAT reverse charging, which means, say if you're raising an invoice for £5,000, you would then not charge any VAT, put on the invoice, this invoice is subject to reverse charge mechanism, and then your customer accounts for the VAT. So that means you don't charge any VAT, you don't collect any VAT, and then when it comes to the VAT quarter end, you don't actually have to physically pay anything to HMRC. You would generally get a refund, which is a small amount of VAT you can claim back on your inputs. So that's how the reverse charge works. So I'm going to create a new invoice on the standard VAT rate, and it comes up here. So with this, you can put in your own logo at the top if you have one. If you don't, that's fine. It'll just put the company name. You would also have obviously your company names here and your VAT number, invoice number, date, and then you just start adding invoice items. So if you charge by the hour and you're doing a weekly charge, 40 hours, say £30 an hour. Construction industry. So you would say 40 hours, £30 an hour. This is subject to CIS income, and generally you would actually have that as reverse charge, but you have to do that on the previous screen. You create and finish, and then there's your invoice, done and dusted, 1,200 quid for your net amount. The VAT's being charged, but then they take off the CIS deduction. That's the amount you would receive in your bank account. And to send that invoice, just click send by email. And then this brings up the normal template, and you would go from there. So you click send email, and then in my inbox, that's going to land in just a moment. So then if you wanted to go back to your invoicing, you should be able to see it on here as click all invoices. There we go. This was to do with the testing I was doing the other day for other clients. So auto reminders active on that one. So that's going to just automatically keep emailing the client. So that's your sales invoicing. It's dead easy. If you use any other system, it's going to be exactly the same. You just enter the details and it sends it off. The good thing about this system is it keeps automatic track of what's being paid, and away we go. So what you would do when it comes to your bank account is you would have your business current account automatically linked for sure. The easiest way to do this is doing it on the mobile app. So Freeagent does all of this on the mobile app, which I'll cover in a bit more depth shortly. So the easiest way to link your bank feed is by doing that on the online app, on your app, because you log into the Freeagent app, you click on your bank account, you click enable bank feed, and then it takes you to your whatever bank you're with, takes you to that app, and it just asks you a face ID, sign in, and then you click enable, and it'll just automatically link up your bank account, and that shouldn't be too difficult. There are a couple of different banks like Starling. I think there is a different process, but if you just Google Starling Freeagent integration, there's a couple of pages where they've got instructions, and I've got clients where they've been able to do that no problem. And you do have to reconnect it every 90 days. So it's just re-logging in, re-authenticating. It's just a banking issue, but that's fine. It's more data security, which is fine. So when you've linked your bank account, you go into here and you'll have two sections. One is unexplained and one is for approval. So most transactions will go in for approval, and that's Freeagent automatically matching up where they have where they're basically Freeagent's trying to suss out what that transaction is and match it up automatically for you. So you just have to go down, check it's right, and tick, 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 and then that's fine. And then you've got unexplained, which is basically you have to enter in what that transaction is for. So the unexplained section would look like this, and you would click on, say, office insurance. That's a payment. There's no VAT on that, so it's out of scope of VAT for insurance. Can't claim any VAT back on it because it's got insurance premium tax. So the total amount goes to the section for insurance. You put a description in. So that might be with, say, Aviva, something like that, and that's generally going to be a monthly payment. So once you put it in for the first time, it's going to recognise that and put it to the same place, and then just click Save Changes, and then that's the first one done. So you would do that for every transaction that comes through. So it makes it nice and easy to basically reconcile your bank account. So your money coming in, this is for example of money coming in. So your money in and money out columns there, and this should marry up exactly with your bank account as well. So the balance should match. So money coming in, this is from Pashton Electricals, and then that's automatically being matched up against that invoice. You can see there's nothing else paid against that. So total amount of 2,000, and you just click save, and that automatically marks off the invoice, so it's removed from your debtors ledger, so it doesn't show as an outstanding invoice on there. So that is nice and easy. You can also use Freeagent for your payroll as well. So I'm going to be setting out with clients starting from April, the new tax year. So where possible, I'm going to have Freeagent filing the payroll returns. You can download your pay slips from here, and it's all in one system, which is going to be much easier to use. So when it comes to the other sections, so I would obviously take care of taking care of your VAT return, so you don't really need to know the functionality around this. But just to see how it all comes together, you would click on here. This would be how to file your latest VAT return. So this is the boxes that goes to HMRC. So in the top box, you've got your output VAT. In this box, you've got your input VAT, and then that's what you have to pay at HMRC. You also get information on your sales. So how much sales did you do in the quarter, and what was the value of your purchases? And they use that to basically find out any anomalies between these two. If you put any corrections in there, or if there's been a mistake made, that'll flag up to HMRC as part of, and they might come and have a look at you. Now, there's two sections up here. You've got preview and full report. You click on full report. This gives you a list of all the sales invoices that are included. And there are two ways of doing your VAT return. So that's all the VAT that's being claimed back there for you. The two ways of doing the VAT return, again, you don't really need to know, but you've got invoice and cash. Now, for most people, the cash basis is going to be the better basis, because most of the time in a small business, when you incur an expense, you pay for it straight away. There's no, generally, you might not have a credit card or get a 30-day account with people to pay for like insurance and stuff like that. So you would generally pay on the account basis. You would generally pay cash, because you're only then paying the VAT on your sales once you receive it. So that's that. So basically what Freeagent does for me is it has all of your sales invoices in there, all of your costs running through there, and it helps to prepare the VAT return. I would check and make sure all the entries are correct. So make sure that the VAT's being claimed on the right things, you haven't missed anything, and also that you're not claiming VAT on things like insurance where you can't claim it back. So that's that. There are also some really good reports. So you've got age debtors, so where you have multiple customers. This report shows by customer who owes you money and how old it is. So for instance, you've got 90 days there. These are all the invoices that you would need to be chasing. So you can see on here, right, invoice 098. I'm going to send a reminder for that. You literally just go in here, click send now, and then that'll fire that off to Miss Charlotte Gracie. And then the other thing I wanted to show you was the mobile app. So the mobile app is a real doddle to use. Let me just share this screen. Let me just, here we go, different screen now. Let me just double check that you can see that. Yeah, okay. So this is the mobile app. You'll be able to see it on the screen. So when you log in to the mobile app, it's got a bit of a dashboard like you would on the main website. You've got details of your cash flow. You can change the settings on there, and then we'll click play. This would take you to, if you click on banking on the right hand side there, this takes you to the summary of your bank accounts. All your bank accounts will be listed there, the loan accounts if you've got one, petty cash if you do pay for stuff in cash, and then savings and business. Obviously your savings account wouldn't be negative, but you would have a business current account there. And then to link up your bank account, you would click on your business current account page there, 3 dots at the top for options, and then you would click down here, enable bank feed, and then this basically logs in to your account. You select your bank account there, what section of Barclays that you're with. Generally it'll just be business, and then you click connect bank account. Because I don't have a Barclays account, it wants to sign in to the website. So I don't have the app on my phone. It checks that first, and then it wants to go log into the website. Once you've done that, it'll say, do you want to share the information with Freeagent? It's obviously just a data sharing platform. There's no option to make any payments from Freeagent. There's no functionality on that. So from a data security perspective, that's fine. And then all of your transactions will feed through. And you can also tap into them on here and do basically your data entry. Nice and easy. You've got your VAT there, amount, what it's for, description. And then the main benefit I find of the mobile app is when you go, say you go to the shop, you pick up some stationery and you get a receipt, you can quickly snap it with your phone. You log into the Freeagent app, you click on the button down the bottom, this green button, and I'm going to show you this in just a minute. The green button down the bottom. Here we go. So green button down the bottom, you'd enter and you'd basically click capture for later. So you haven't had the receipt through your bank account yet, but you know that this receipt needs to be entered. And you click capture for later. You pick up the receipt. You take a photo of it using the app, and using recognition software, it picks up the supplier, the date, the amount, the VAT. So it basically picks up all the information that you need, and it will look for that transaction on, if you click save for later, it'll look for that transaction on your bank account and it'll automatically link it up. So it'll do your bookkeeping for you. And that is a dream. That's the future. And that's, you know, why we're doing this, is because it means you don't have to keep a box of receipts. You can just scan it, chuck the receipt, or confidentially dispose of it, and then you're away. You can send your sales invoices out from here. So this is what this is showing. But it's really easy, really intuitive for the client. And I think it's going to really help my clients where they probably have a sales invoice software where they send the sales invoices out, and then they've got and then they might have, like, you know, a little folder of receipts at home. Let me just switch back to this. They might have a folder of receipts at home. They might have, you know, you might have to send me your bank statements once every quarter for your VAT returns and stuff like that. And I think it's just going to make the whole process a lot easier. And like I say, you just need to sign up for a Metal account, and then your banking's for free, and this license is for free. So it's an absolute dream. Obviously, for those of you that aren't VAT registered, you don't have to charge any VAT, and you don't have to specifically record the VAT, so the bookkeeping will be a little bit easier. But Freeagent will basically do that for you. So there's some settings here, and you would just change the thing for the VAT registration. But I would set that up ready for you, so it's not a registered company, and it'll just not ask you for any VAT details. So this is the settings section. You can do things like edit your company details if you change address, upload your company logo, add and change users, which generally I would do when I'm first setting up for you. So for instance, I've added myself as a user on here. You can put in their national insurance number, date of birth, what the role is, if they're active or not active, and then you can turn on two-factor authentication, which I would highly recommend, which means it just texts your mobile phone with a code like many other accounts. And you can also then, if I was logged in as the other user, you can basically have a sliding scale of how much access you want people to have access to. So if you wanted someone to do your invoicing, your sales invoicing, but not have access to your bank account and stuff, then you can set that up as well. That's a dream. It does have lots of connections, so you can add it to various things like Go Cardless, like I use, and that'll match up with direct debits automatically. HMRC connections for VAT, and you know, loads of other applications which are also being developed. That is it. I don't want it to be too long. I think it's relatively easy to use. There are plenty of how-tos on Freeagent's website. There's a great couple of sections on getting started. Just seeing it here. Getting started, Freeagent. So are you not VAT registered or VAT registered business? They have their own webinars and stuff, but obviously I want to be side by side with my clients setting this up. The more time I spend setting this up with clients, the more of a success it's going to be. And that's it really. I'll make sure I book in some time with everybody to go through it and have a review, to make sure everyone's happy with it. And if anyone's got any questions, then just contact me on the usual channels. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you. Bye-bye.